Alright folks, it's not been a bad day. It's been snowing. I had a good walk with Stuart earlier. That was good. Took all the dogs and a football. That was good fun. Alright, then took him for a little bit more of a run and had some watering milk in the car for them for their little drinky. But it just means that when they get back, they don't need a drink. And then, of course, because there's been quite a lot of snow, I made a few snowballs and chucked them up for them. And Lucy ate the snowballs, and so did Chewie. So they had lots of drinking inside them anyway. So yeah, when we came back, the dogs sniffed the bins that are there, which are those upstairs bins. But they asked me to move my bins, saying that they were going to put a fence there. The bloke sent me a message on Facebook, an emergency message. They were going to put a fence there. I tell you, it's the best fence you'd ever seen in your life. It's invisible. I tell you, fantastic. You wouldn't even know it's there. Well, because it's not there. So what they've done, they've just put their bins in the spot where my bins were. And of course, when we come through Neighbour's garden, which we have to do to come back, what's straight in front of them? The bins. Where they had the bins before, the dogs never used to bother with the bins because they were out of the way. Their bins were. They might have bothered with mine. They might have peed over mine. Not sure. It's quite possible that if one of their dogs is peeing over the bin, then the males here might try and do the same. Well, of course, she burst out her door. Can you get your effing dogs away from my bins? Or keep your effing dogs away from my bins? Well, if you don't like it, move your bins back to where they were. Simple, where the dogs didn't go near the bins. Yeah? If you keep on seeing my dogs go near the bins, then, sorry, I'm not going to tell the dogs off. The bins are not in a sheltered area, where the wind can't get to them and the rain can't get to them. The wind and the rain will clean the bins anyway, so therefore, where's the issue? There's no issue there at all. You just want to keep coming out and moaning, bitching about something. Any excuse, you come out. So it's like, okay. I'm not going to tell these off for going near the bins. If you don't like the dogs going in that area, move your bins back to where they were. Simple. That solves the problem. If it really is a problem for them going near your bins, then move your bins back. If the bins were in a sheltered area, if that was a sheltered area that had a roof over it and the rain wasn't getting to it, the wind wasn't getting to the bins to clean them, then I would understand the point. If the dogs pee over the bins, then the bins won't get cleaned. I understand that. Yep. I'd understand the moaning. I wouldn't necessarily do anything about it because you put your bins, you've created a sheltered area for your bins. Okay, that's up to you. There you go. But there are properties where the bins are in sheltered areas, and you wouldn't particularly want dog pee all over the bins because they're not going to get cleaned, are they? Not by the wind and the rain. So, I understand that. From that point of view, I do understand it when that is the case. When that isn't the case, sorry. Obviously, she's sitting in front of the visual for the camera, so she can see what happens every time I come back. But okay, if you'd rather do that than take your dogs for a walk, then okay. It's up to you. I personally would rather take my dogs for a walk. That's why my dogs go for a walk in the winter twice a day, in the summer 4 times a day. I do take my dogs out. It's like they've said about my dogs barking. Yeah, unfortunately. Micky at the moment needs to be trained not to bark when I go out. That's why now I'm not even taking him with me. Because in the summer, I started taking him with me initially. But it's like, the problem is, I've got to put him in the boot of the car, and in the summer, I'm not going to do that because it's going to get a bit hot. So, not a good idea. He needs to learn. He needs to learn that I come back. That's the first thing. If he's still barking when I go out, then that's another thing. But plus, you've got to understand from the point of view of these properties here. They're between the floor is paper thin. So it sounds most of the time as if somebody is thumping upstairs, when all they're doing necessarily is just walking across the floor. And of course, he will start barking when he hears that. So if I'm not here to tell him to stop. That's all. Now, unfortunately, that's to do with the place where, paper thin ceiling and floor. It's always been the case. I mean, I'm not sure what they could do. They couldn't really lower this ceiling anymore. Well, because it's already, you stand up, you touch it. If there was anyone living here who was 6 foot, it would be incredibly claustrophobic already, so lowering the ceiling wouldn't work. Yeah, don't know. And of course, he's going to bark when I'm not here, especially if he hears noise upstairs. If he hears the dogs upstairs barking or running around, he's going to start barking. That's what it is. Yeah, at the moment, he's going to do that. But then there was a little bark. Lucy looked up at the ceiling because she heard it. Yeah. If it continues, and of course they're going to start barking because they hear a dog barking. So that's the way it is. That's dogs for you. And yeah, I understand they've got 2 dogs. They have one. I understood with one when they had a dog puppy off me that there's going to be noise, because of course there is. Now that's one. Where there's 5 or 6, there's going to be 5 times or 6 times the amount of noise, or chances of noise, isn't there? There you go. Again, if you don't like it, move to a place where you haven't got dogs below you, above you, on the left or the right, if you don't like the noise. That's one of the consequences. You can't say when you moved in you didn't realise there was dogs there. You did. Yeah, that's the reality. That's the reality of having neighbours, but certainly having neighbours with dogs. When there's 5 or 6 dogs, there's going to be chances of noise. But I'm doing this. Can you hear any noise from the dogs? Are they making noise? No, they don't. Generally speaking, they don't. If Micky or any of the rest are making noises, when I'm here, I tell them to shush. And generally speaking, they shush. If I'm not here, I can't tell them to shush. They bark when she goes outside for a cigarette and she's speaking to someone on the phone. They can hear someone speaking outside, so they start barking. Well, sorry. Do you have to smoke out the back? No. You can easily smoke out the front. You could go a bit more into your garden and have your phone call there. But if you want to have that, then okay, that's fine. I'm not going to complain about that, but there are consequences to that. One of the consequences is the dogs will start barking because they can hear people talking. Certainly if I'm not here, if I'm gone to the shop or something, that will happen. Of course it will. Because these things do happen. That's dogs. Mollie, generally speaking, doesn't bark when she hears a noise. Chewie does a bit. Lucy certainly does. Amber, not too bad actually indoors when she hears a noise. But yeah, one starts barking, the whole lot can start. That's the way it is. With a pack of animals, that's the way it is. Whether you've got 2, you've got 3, you've got 4, you've got 5, you've got 6, or you've got 20. That is generally the situation. One starts barking, the rest start barking. It's not going to stop. I'm not going to tell them off for doing what is natural to them. When I'm here, I will tell them to stop. Because, there's no need for them to do that. So, okay. I'm here. If there's any issues, I'll deal with it. You don't need to. That sort of thing. That's fine. when I'm not here, yeah, different matter. But I say with Micky, he's got to learn that I come back. Simple. I will start training not to bark. The way I do that is simple. Go outside. If he starts barking, then I'll, tell him off. I've done that. I tell him to stop. But most of the time I've gone out to the cars, I've gone up to the top and he's not barking. Now, he knows I'm going to come back. But if he hears a noise, he's going to start barking. There's nothing I can do about that. That's dogs. Yeah. I mean, we've got dogs at the end of, my neighbours upstairs, their garden. At the end of that garden, there's dogs that bark all the time. All the time. Rough collies. They've got 2 rough collies. I think the younger one, they've got a younger one now. They only had one at one point, but they've got a pup. That pup's now probably about a year, 2 years old. But that pup just barks all the time. Any noise. Rah, 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 rah. Of course, that then starts these off. Let's say if I'm down the shop, I don't know what's going on, so I can't really do anything. I could get one of those monitors where I could try and monitor the situation and tell them off if I heard it. But to be honest, I'll be honest, if I had really good neighbours, like if it was still Grant and Fiona living upstairs, I'd probably do that. I'd probably invest in one of those monitors to try and do that. So even when I went out, I could control the noise in here. I could just sort of tell them, shush, quiet down. But no, I'm not going to do it. No. I'll try and control him while I'm here. I'll try and train him to stop, to not bark when I'm not here. But the problem is, let's say if he hears a noise, he's going to start barking. There's not an awful lot I can do about that, really. Because even with those control, even with those monitor things, yeah. I've no idea how much they cost. The ones that you can speak through, where you can hear them and they can hear you, where they can hear you clearly enough to know it's you. I mean, those things I imagine cost, a few £100. I imagine so. I don't imagine that they're cheap. Because they'll have to go through your phone and you have to get an alert when they start making noise. So, yeah. Indeed. Yeah. As I say, ideally speaking, if I can move to somewhere in the middle of the countryside, I'll do that. Being away from people, because any noise they make wouldn't affect anyone. But at the moment, I'm here. Yeah. Situation is what it is, and nothing I can do about it. Yeah. It's just what it is. So, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, there's not an awful lot I can do, but as I say, I mean, I fully understand that there's going to be noise, because there's going to be noise. Yeah. There's going to be noise from the dogs upstairs, and there's going to be noise the other way around. Yeah. So that's the thing. You just got to accept that. When you live somewhere where there's other people, you just got to accept that there's going to be noise because there's other people. That's what you get, don't you? When there's other people, you get noise. That's one of the results of it. You can't avoid that, really. Even with great neighbours, you still get a certain amount of noise. It's going to happen. Especially with dogs, because even with great neighbours, the neighbours go out somewhere, leave dog at home, dog hears something, starts barking. It's going to happen. Anything happens, well, you're just going to put up with it. Yeah. Simple as that. Yeah, there's not an awful lot can be done in a situation as is, really. So, yeah. And as to the bins, as I say, I've got to get in and out. We've got to go up my steps. Then to get out, turn immediately right to go through the neighbour's garden to get out. Coming back is the opposite. They're running across the garden. Of course, what do they see when they come back? The bins. So if one of the people upstairs, if one of their dogs is peeing over the bins, they're going to go to the scent of that, aren't they? So there you go. Nothing I can do about that because I'm trying to supervise the dogs as they come across. So the last one, because I get it from the other way around. Certainly at night sort of situation. If Neighbour's boyfriend's there and one of my dogs is lingering in their garden, he comes out, get your dog out of my bloody garden. So I've got to supervise that, make sure no one's... So, of course, the ones that are coming through first, if they go near the bins, I'm sorry. Yeah. Accept it as it is. Yeah, bins are outside, as I say. The wind and the rain will clean the bins. That's what the wind and the rain does. Yeah. Trust in that system. Or move the bins back to where they were before, where they weren't in... Yeah, right in the line of the dogs coming back from a walk, Yeah. Yeah, if you were that upset about it, move the bins back where they were. Simple. Otherwise, leave them there. Just let the wind and the rain deal with it. Yeah, because the wind and the rain will deal with it. No. So they're rushing out and, so I'm trying to make an issue out of it. Yeah, I'm much rather be spending time playing with the pups, playing with doggies, taking doggies for a walk, rather than staring at a monitor. Well, what's going on? What's she doing? 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 Can I go out and say something? Can I go out and bitch about something? What the point? Oh, really? That's why now, my response to anything like that is just buzz, 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 buzz. Because it's like, it's like a wasp in the summer. It's just an irritant. That's all it is. It's just an irritant. Well, because what can be done about that, really? Well, I'm supposed to tell the dogs off because they're going near the bins? No, I'm not going to do that. No, sorry. It's not going to happen. They're doing what's natural to them. That's cool. Now, if they were pooing next to the bins, I understand that maybe a good idea to not let them do that. Yeah. Of course. But they're not doing that. And so, So, I mean, generally speaking, if I see Chewie near the bins, sometimes he has cocked his leg up on the bin and peed on it. And I say, no, get down the steps, go on. They do get a mild turn off for that. Because, okay. I understand the point. But they weren't doing that today. They were just sniffing. So, but even if they were, even if one of them did, it doesn't matter. It's outside. We're getting quite windy weather. a lot. We're getting a lot of snow, a lot of rain. It's moisture. It's going to clean the bins off. The wind comes through and blows away the scent that was left on it. Otherwise, come on, folks, switch your brains on. You take your male dog for a walk. That male dog pees everywhere to leave its scent. Well, if the wind and the rain didn't get rid of the scent, why would the dog have to keep on peeing everywhere to leave its scent? Its scent would still be there. Right? And how you can't understand that the wind and the rain deals with that, I don't know. Why are you going to try and make an issue of that? So if it's really an issue with my dogs going around your bins, move the bins back where they were before, because that wasn't an issue then. It was easier for me to keep them away from that area. Or put them on leads, maybe. have collars around their neck, put them on leads, so that they're dragging and choking, to keep them away from your bins. Yeah. So you want me to abuse my dogs in some way to keep them away from your bins? Right. That would not surprise me in any way, shape, or form. If dogs are pretty much under control off lead, they don't need to be on the lead. When you call them, they come. But the thing of it is, it's not about that, is it? It's just about, as I said to a friend of mine, the situation between me and the people upstairs and the people next door could have died off a long time ago. They don't want it to die off. They want to keep bitching. They want to keep coming out and all the time. So, okay. You want to keep doing that. You want to keep it going. I don't care. It's not going to affect my life in any way, shape, or form. It's going to affect yours, but it won't affect mine. It's not my pattern of behaviour, it's yours. My pattern of behaviour is ignoring it. Certainly when it's going on, not reacting to it. Trying to just say buzz, because that's better than, getting annoyed about it and saying something which could be unpleasant. Which, of course, generally speaking, that's how naturally, if I was to respond to it from a human point of view, I would have shouted back something abusive, because that would have been the human response. Especially, yeah. But no. Buzz is, that's the response. When there's an irritant, the best way to respond is, knowing it as an irritant. Because that's all it is. It's nothing more than that. It's not something that's going to derail my life at all. Or my path. I'm not going to be put off the path because of this. Why should I be? No. In the end, it doesn't matter, does it? When it comes down to it, it's irrelevant. It's just an irritant. That's all it is. And just recognise it for what it is. If it's really an issue, well then, okay, leave it to them to deal with. If my dog's going in their bins is really an issue, as she tries to make out it is, by rushing out and, getting all, her about it, then, move the bins. Find a solution. The solution is moving the bins. Stop moaning. You've noticed a problem. There's an obvious solution to the problem. So there you go. Do that. Otherwise, just accept the fact that in time, the wind and the rain is going to deal with that anyway. Even if the dog's pee on it, the wind and the rain is going to deal with that. When otherwise, surely, the gardens up there would really stink. Really stink. The neighbours around would be complaining massively because there's dog poo everywhere. So, of course, if the wind and the rain didn't deal with it, it would be one heck of a stinky area, wouldn't it, really? One heck of a stinky area. In my area down here, I need to wash that on a regular basis. Why? Because even though the wind gets to it, the rain doesn't. Because if the rain got to it, this place would flood. on numerous occasions. So not a good idea to really let the rain get to it. So, yeah. It's not something to bitch about, is it really? It's not... You think about it. I mean... Everyone. Nobody knows what their physical state really is, or what their risk factors are for things like heart attacks and stuff like that. So, stress. Is it worth getting stressed about dogs going near your bins? The more stress you get, the more chance you are going to have a heart attack and stuff like that, right? So, maybe take that one away. Don't maybe get stressed about this and that and the other. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I got annoyed on the way to the walk with Stuart. Again, there seem to be some morons driving right now. 60-mile-an-hour road. The road's been cleared. There's no snow on the road. There's no ice on the road. It's been gritted very, very well. Main road. Yeah, there's people travelling at 40 miles an hour on this road. It's a 60-mile-an-hour road. But they're driving as if it's completely black ice. If you're scared of the weather and the roads, don't go out in it. If you're scared of it, don't go out in it. It's pointless. What are you doing? Utterly and totally ridiculous. But I mean, yes, I was annoyed with that on the way. Yeah. The last week, there's been a lot of that, a lot of this silliness, really. People driving on those sort of roads and driving way under the speed limit because they're concerned about ice. If you're concerned about ice, don't go out. Don't go out. Not unless you absolutely need to. Yeah. We've got COVID anyway. Not really supposed to go out unless you really need to anyway. But then you're concerned about ice, so again, don't go out unless you really need to. It's ridiculous. What I was saying to Stuart, it is dangerous driving. In America, you would get a fine for that. If you're driving way under the speed limit, you get a fine for that. Yes, that's an RTA issue. Yeah, traffic police will be on you for that and will issue a fine on the spot because you're going way below the speed limit. It's called dangerous driving because you've got people behind you. You've got to understand that if people were sensible and sensible all the time, it wouldn't be an issue if people were driving below the speed limit. Because people aren't sensible and sensible all the time. So therefore, you're driving 2/3 of the speed limit. Right, that means the cars behind you are getting impatient. If they're getting impatient, if they're looking to try and get past you, all you need is someone taking a bit more of a risk than what they should be taking because they're just getting fed up with the fact that they're in a 60 or 70 mile an hour zone and you're going so slow. Even like there's a 40 mile an hour zone and people are traveling like 20. It's like, what are you doing? Just stay home. If you're that scared of the roads, stay home. These are the sort of people that if they actually hit a bit of ice, they will end up, smashing into something because they panic. Stay home. If you can't drive in the conditions, as you would normally, well then don't drive. I mean, in the end, there are off-roads. There's snowy off-roads. On those roads, be careful. Of course. If the gritter hasn't got down certain roads, well then, be careful. They could be slippery, so just drive carefully. But on the main roads, yes, if it's incredibly heavy snow and it's been heavy snow for a long time and there's been hardly any cars on the road and snow's starting to build up, then be careful. Then maybe bring your speed down. If you're on a 6 mile an hour road and it looks very, very snowy, then even going at 40 is too fast. You shouldn't be driving anywhere near 30, really, not in those sort of conditions. Not if it's icy and, no, of course not. So, even driving at 40 in a 6 mile an hour zone, you're too fast if you think there's going to be ice there. So the problem is you're straddling in the middle, aren't you, somewhere? And it's just going to annoy other drivers. Well, especially because with a lot of cars, try and overtake someone who's doing 40. If you want to do it quickly, you've got to go over the speed limit to do that. And that can also be quite annoying for drivers. Depends upon the car you've got, but generally speaking, of course you do. If you're on a road that can be quite busy and you see a gap, you've got to try and get that manoeuvre done quickly. Now, if you're going to try and stay within the speed limit, you're not going to be able to do that quickly. And sod's law, what often happens is, as you go to overtake someone, they start to speed up. See, dog upstairs barking, Micky starts making noise. Because he can hear a dog barking. I said that's the way it is. You're going to get noise. I understand you're going to get noise from upstairs. They've got to understand that I've got 3 times the amount of dogs that they've got. Of course, there's going to be 3 times chance likely of barking when they hear a noise. It is what it is. But there are solutions to the problems. If you don't like the barking from the dogs here, then fine. Move to somewhere where you haven't got dogs below, left, or right, or above. Then you've got no issue. You haven't got to worry about dogs barking, have you? If it's a problem, you're only renting, so you can move. If you own the property, then you've got to try and sell the property and all that crap. So you're only renting, so it doesn't matter. You can easily find somewhere else and move if it's that big an issue. If it's not that big an issue, then don't worry about it. It's fine. That doggy's peeing or going near the bins. Peeing on the bins or just going near the bins. If that's an issue, move the bins back to where they were before, where they weren't going near them. Where the bins weren't on their route. They are now, but you've made the bins there. You put them there. So there you go. You choose to do that. That's up to you. I'm not going to tell the dogs off for that. I will try and keep the noise down when I can. And I do. I always do. If I hear them barking, I try and keep the noise down. When I'm outside or doing their food or cleaning up poo or whatever, and I hear barking, I tell them to shut up. When I'm gone to the car and I come back, I hear them barking, I tell them to shush. But as I say, the problem is incredibly thin walls and ceilings. You're going to hear noise, and the problem is, it's like with mine, with the 6. We go out at night. If Amber sees someone, certainly anyone with a skateboard, she doesn't like that. She gets a bit annoyed by that. The others couldn't care less. They really couldn't care less. They just go past them. They don't even notice it at all. She does. Like we were out earlier, and when we went for a kick around after the walk with Stuart, there were kids sledding, and I was going back to the car. The kid went down the little slope on a sled, and Amber started barking and running towards the kid. So I called her back. She came back, no problem at all. But if I hadn't noticed, she would have gone over and started, barking aggressively, because all she saw was that. She doesn't know what's going on. Suddenly, some kid is whizzing down the slope. None of the other dogs cared. And it's like noise. Generally speaking, most of them, there was a little bit of dog barking there. The rest of them, quiet. Micky started growling. He's the one who starts to bark at any noise at all. He will start. The others, they're fine with it. They've only started complaining about the barking since Micky got here. And I understand that. He's the one who does that. And I will try and train him out of it. But as I say, when I'm not here, I can't do a lot. Especially with, it's not a case, the people upstairs aren't necessarily noisy. All the people that have moved in, that have been upstairs since I've been here, have not been necessarily noisy. But you can hear everything. Everything. When they're walking across the floor, you hear boom, 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 boom. They're only walking across the floor, but that's what you hear. It can be very loud. When the dogs are running across, because it's a wooden floor, you hear them. It's what it is. It's what it is. That's what the situation is right now. You live with people left, right, below and above, that sort of stuff. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get noise. That's the reality. I'm going to try and train Micky, because, for his sake, it's best if he's not. I don't know if he gets stressed and that's why he barks. No idea. I don't think so, but that might be the case. No idea. Whatever reason he's barking is whatever reason he's barking. But I'm going to try and train him out of it for his sake, not for anyone else's. Anyway, there you go. I'll leave it to it. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.